Okay, so by now you should have gotten quite a bit of work done on your layers of the earth drawing. And remember that even though people haven't actually been in the center of the earth or any of the layers really past the crust, we have quite a bit of information from listening to the waves that come from earthquakes and just by observing some of the things that occur on the earth's surface, like earthquakes and volcanoes. Today, we're going to talk specifically about something going on in the mantle. And this would have been the piece of information Alfred Wegener would have loved to have his hands on. He proposed a theory that the crust or the pieces of the continents were moving. And people asked him, how on earth could a big chunk of the Earth's crust move? In fact, at the time, they thought that the Earth's surface was one continuous sheet of rock. And Alfred Wegener argued that it was actually broken pieces of rock. Had Alfred Wegener known about what was going on in the mantle, he would have been able to prove his point no problem. So think about this lesson when you get to the end of the project. So we're going to talk about convection currents in the mantle, and we're actually going to watch part of a Mr. Parr video today. All right, so here is what we think is going on in the mantle. So here are the layers of the earth. Okay, inner core, outer core. The mantle is actually broken down into a different layer as well. There's the part of the mantle that's really, really hot. And then this part at the top's called the asthenosphere, which is really kind of like putty, like really bendy, stretchy magma. And it comes to the Earth's surface as lava during a volcanic eruption. So I'm not going to show you the heat transfer wrap, but we did talk a little bit about convection in our thermal energy unit. And basically, all convection is a cycle or a flow of a fluid where the warm stuff rises, cools, and sinks back down as it cools. Things that are cooler tend to be more dense. Things that are warmer tend to be less dense. And in this case, we're talking about the magma in the mantle. So what we think is occurring in the mantle is that there are these cells or pockets of convection where mantle materials that get really close to the outer core get extremely hot and rise to the top. As they flow in these patterns, okay, so here'd be two cells next to each other. You've got flow coming up in between the two, and as it pulls in opposite directions, can actually rip the crust apart. Okay, and this would be like a ridge. We'll be learning about ridges in benchmark 3. There's a really big one in the Atlantic Ocean. And as this sticky fluid flows this way, in this case it's counterclockwise or clockwise, over here, it pulls the pieces of the crust. And it actually it's going really, really slow, but it pulls in some areas the crust right back down into the mantle, and it melts and becomes new mantle. So we basically have this conveyor belt of magma where it's either ripping apart the pieces of the crust or it's pushing it back down into the mantle and melting it. And in this case, wherever this mantle is melting crust, you might see volcanic action here as it begins to melt. So is this the push and the pull that Alfred Wegener was looking for? We believe so. This is one of my favorite Mr. Parr videos. This one's called The Crust is Moving. Let's check it out.
It's convection currents. It's convection currents. It's convection currents. They collide, ride, wide, and baby. It's convection currents. It's convection currents. It's convection currents. They collide, ride, wide, and baby. Boy coming from a German place, filling those French continents up plates. You really think this is fit in space? Nah, no one believes his face. He traveled all the world and the cold, I know. Found the planets drop from Berlin, place of snow, and fossil Scott showed places views. These finds were how he knew. While they tried to prove his theory, they deny. Harry has fancy for spreading, so we ride. currents. It's convection currents, they collide right while they. Hey, magnetic start to appear, drilling samples they will take it. Oh, molten material is here. Looks like today's lava made. Oh, they try to prove his theory, they deny, they deny. Harry has found sequel spreading, so he's right. Hey, Father, don't lie, 'cause the crust is moving. Tell me, do you know how come? Is it transformed from side to side moving? Talking about the places the breaks have been out of place. It's spreading spreading as they are every day. What if they combine? Virgin is moving. Convection currents, how it's done. Come on, say it. It's convection currents. It's convection currents. It's convection currents. They collide right while baby. It's convection currents. It's convection currents. It's convection currents. They collide. Here we go. Father, don't lie, 'cause the crust is moving. Tell me, do you know how come? Is it transformed from side to side moving? Talking about the places the breaks have been out of place. It's spreading spreading as they are every day. What if they combine? Virgin is moving. Convection currents, how it's done.
All right, so perfect video. It talks about the 3 pieces of evidence, it talks about convection currents, and it even gives you a little preview to Harry Hess, who we're going to talk about in benchmark 3. So, there are, let's see, I guess I don't have any more slides regarding this, but I will go into Echo and show you what I posted for you for this benchmark, lesson 2. We are going to do a journal, and I did post some pages from the book that I think you might find helpful. And you can certainly, go back and look at the video I just posted, the Mr. Power video. All right, so there are, I guess I just posted the picture from the book. That's good enough. We don't need the PDF. All right. There's a picture of what we were just talking about, the convection current. There are 2 questions in today's journal that you need to do. And I actually told you the answer at the beginning of this video. We need to connect Alfred Wegener's theory to what's going on in the mantle. Why didn't scientists believe him at first? And if had he known about the convection currents, how could that have helped him prove his theory? So I just posted a picture from the book. You can read that and use the picture. Just a very simple journal today. So if you've finished your drawing and you have finished this journal, you can actually start making attempts on the benchmark 2 quiz. It's 10 questions today in a Google form, and then you'll be done for the week. So if you have any questions, let me know. We'll meet up at the Zoom on Thursday, May 21st at 11:30 a.m. See you then.